Welcome, calculus students, and we're just getting into how to graph the cross sections. I'm actually getting into the My Math Lab assignment here, as you can see, and I would strongly recommend using all of your tools for your assistance here. Now, first of all, let me try to draw out the picture. As you can see, there's the two equations. I'm looking at this one here. This is going to be a parabola that's going up. It's going to start off at -13, so it's going to be somewhere down here. And this is a parabola that's going down because as a negative x squared is going to be right there. So let me write the equation. So this one's going to be 5 minus x squared. And then this one's going to be x squared minus 13. And again, I would strongly recommend to you, graph it on Desmos. So let me get into Desmos here. That one's already done. Let me go back, look at the equations. I'm sorry. X squared minus 13 and 5 minus x squared. So I do have them backwards. Let me fix that. Fix that. 5 minus x squared and x squared minus 13. And here's the picture, the image of it, but the most important part is I want to know what's their intersection. It's -3 to 3 since it's with respect to x. And let me point that out, that the problem says perpendicular to the x-axis. That's probably the most important part because that's the direction that you're drawing your cross sections. In this case, the cross sections are shapes of squares. So the integral is going to be from that's a 3, -3 to 3, top 5 minus x squared minus the bottom function, x squared minus 13. Now, this will give me the area of just the parabola from parabola. So just from the top minus bottom. That's all that's going to give me. What I want to do is find the cross sections, and from the previous video, you just have to do a squared of that entire function to make it into a square, cross sections of squares. All right, so let me go ahead and simplify this. So 5 minus x squared minus x squared plus 13. Combine my like terms, and it's going to become -2x squared. I just combine the x squares there. 5 plus 13 is 18. And all of that squared dx from -3 to 3. All right, I'm going to go to my calculator and actually type in the whole notation here. So that was what? -3 to 3. The function on the inside, and you have to put this in parentheses because you have to square the whole thing. Oops, let me go back and delete that. X squared plus 18. Oh, dang it. Plus 18, and then that whole statement has to be squared, and this has to be with respect to x, whichever direction you're going there. Now, obviously that's the answer, but they want the exact answer, so I'm going to turn it into a fraction. So what is that? 5,184 divided by 5. Let me go into my solution there. 5,184 divided by 5. Check my answer, and there's my solution. All right, let's move on to a second problem. All right, let's continue with the second problem. Sorry, I was just graphing something there. And let me pull up my graph. Let me pull up the e-homework problem. So what it's looking for here, and sorry, that's not the solution for that. Make sure you read everything carefully, what's going on. So with this one, basically what we have with the graph is that we have a semicircular base, and the radius is 10, so that means we go 10 in this direction, 10 in this direction, 10 in this direction. Now, the key part is that the base is perpendicular, cross sections are perpendicular to the base, and parallel to the diameter of the circle, or the squares. So basically, this is weird because this one's going in this direction. This is the directions of the squares, and the squares are going to come up and obviously go in that direction. These are hard to see. They're coming at you in the motion here. Now, what you should know already is equation of a circle is x squared plus y squared equals r squared. R is the radius, And in fact, this would be x squared plus y squared equals 100. Now, this is kind of tricky because when we find the area, we're going from like the x value to the x value. We're going actually from side to side. So this time we have to make it with respect to y. So I'm actually going to take this equation and actually solve for x. Now this gives me plus minus. The plus side would actually give you this side. Let me get a different color. The square root of 100 minus y squared would give you the right side. The negative square root of 100 minus y squared will give you the left side. And actually it would give you the bottom part of the circle and the bottom part of the circle. Well, I don't want the bottom part of the circle because I just want the semicircle, the top part of this circle. So looking at this, let me scroll up a little bit. The integral, now the thing that you have to understand on this problem, since this is solved for dx, we want this equation to say dy with respect to y. So since it's with respect to y, I got to know what's the lower constraint to the upper constraint. So in this case, it's going to be from 0 to 10. And I got to take top minus bottom, or in this case, right minus left. So it's going to be square root 100 minus y squared minus negative square root 100 minus y squared. And again, and this is a really nice problem because negative just turns into a plus and you can add them together. But the key thing about this is since they're squares, we're just going to go around the whole quantity, square it, and that will give us our solution. So 0 to 10, 2 times square root 100 minus y squared dy. Just don't forget the whole thing's being squared. And again, the reason why that's a 2, because negative times negative, it really becomes a plus. And I just add the square roots together, so I get 2 of them. And I've already worked it out here. Here's all the, oh, that's not it. I'm sorry, that's from another problem. Let me clear my work here. Sorry for that. Alpha y equals number 4. That was from 0 to 10. Make sure you put parentheses, 2 times the square root, 100 minus x squared. But this whole quantity is being squared because we're having cross sections of squares with respect to x. I know it's with respect to y, but the calculator doesn't know any difference here. And once I solve that, I got to turn it into an exact answer, as you guys should know, 8,000 over 3. So let me go to my solution here. Oh, let me highlight that. 8,000 over 3. And then there's my solution. Definitely make sure you use your time wisely. Organize your time. Make sure you get everything done. If you have any other questions or concerns, definitely